Welcome to Z's and 3
for 3 for the win. Yes!
We are back in effect after a mid-season reset. We dropped the report card video yesterday. Grades for all 30 teams in the NBA. See where your team stacks up. Did I get it right? Do you completely disagree with me? 55 minutes. It is a beefy video. Everything that you need to know in there. But I chaptered it out division by division to make it easy for you to work through. What's the worst division currently in the NBA? What's the best? Which is the most underperforming? It's all there for you. Big week in the NBA as it is rivalry week. 10 matchup deemed rivalries. We'll get into that over the next 5 days. Also, the Paris games, 2 between the Pacers and the Spurs. Those happening Thursday and Saturday. Great to see Victor Wembanyama back in France. A lot of ground to cover before we do. If you like the show, please do like and subscribe. Let's get it. 5-game slate to catch up on from Tuesday night, but we need to do a quick weekend recap since we last spoke. What did we see? Well, Jimmy Butler made his return to the Miami Heat. 2 games he has now played. More on him in a little bit as the trade machines may be starting to move. Oklahoma City Thunder play one against the Dallas Mavericks. They do so without SGA, their MVP candidate, and they lose to a Luka-less Dallas Mavericks. The Thunder now a full game behind the Cavaliers for overall best record in the NBA. The Hawks, are they potentially the best team in the East? Well, they continue to beat the East best. We've seen them beat the Cavs twice, the Knicks just recently in the last week, and now a second win over the Boston Celtics, this time in overtime in Boston over the weekend. Clippers win the Battle of LA, first meeting between the two, and the Clippers take it at Intuit. Speaking of California, the Los Angeles Kings, who I am repping, they were not in action. Well, I don't know if they played, but the Sacramento Kings, they continue to climb under their interim head coach, Doug Christie. They are now 9-2 since dismissing Mike Brown. The Minnesota Timberwolves, well, they continue to oscillate between win-loss, a 500 ball club. Anthony Edwards had a chance to win the game Monday in the matinee on MLK Day in Memphis. He did not make his step-back three-pointer. Edwards is now 0 for 12 on go-ahead or game-tying field goal attempts in the final 5 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime. Just an interesting stat nugget that was floating around this past Monday. Second most misses since he has entered the league. The only player that has more over that time span within those final 5 seconds to go ahead or tie the game, that's LeBron James. He's 0 for 19. Wolves get some bad injury news. They will move forward without Dante DiVincenzo, out indefinitely with a toe injury. Celtics recovering after the loss to Atlanta. They travel out west to the Bay. They give Golden State their worst home loss of the Steve Kerr era, a 40-point drubbing. Is there a Steve Kerr hot seat meter? If so, is it on? Scale of 0 to 10, where would you put it? The Warriors will be without Draymond Green for at least a week. The injury du jour this season, a strained calf. CJ McCollum registered his 3rd highest scoring game of his career, 45, as he led the largest comeback in Pelicans franchise history. They were down 25 against the Jazz. Pelicans now have the longest win streak in the West. They've won 4 consecutive. It's tied with the Bucks for the longest win streak in the NBA. How about that? 7-3 over their last 10 games. 2 teams on losing heaters. The Wizards, well, it's up to another double-digit bender. 10 after a 23-point loss to the Sacramento Kings. And the Sixers season, it is back in the waste bin, having dropped their last 6, heading into Tuesday night's games, which are part of Rivalry Week. What is Rivalry Week? Well, I didn't know either, but the NBA has dubbed these games 10 across the next 5 days, part of Rivals Week. It started tonight with the Battle of the Boroughs, the Knicks and the Nets. A rivalry, in quotes, between the Sixers and the Nuggets. That one, yeah, rivalry maybe if Joel Embiid plays. A nugget on that. No pun intended there. Also, Wolves, Mavs. We will see Warriors, Kings, Heat, Bucks, Celtics, Lakers, Pelicans, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Wolves, Celtics against Mavs, a finals rematch, and the Lakers against Golden State. That is the rivalry week taking place across the course of this week. So the games that we will be keeping our eye on. In house shoes, we will get into NBA rivalries. What is the best current rivalry in the NBA? But let's catch you up on the beginning of rivalry week and rivalry week and the 5 games tonight. You try saying that 3 times fast. Rivalry week. Yeah, it doesn't just roll off of the tongue. Group chat game of the night. Battle of the Boroughs. The Knicks jaunting across the bridge to Brooklyn. The Knicks have been alternating wins and losses over their last 8 games. They have not won 2 in a row since January 1st. An 18-7 Nets run from 2:56 left in the third to the middle of the fourth quarter made it an 87-85 game. It looked like the Knicks were going to run away with this, but the Nets showed some fight. Scrappy Nets team. They are not committed to the tank yet. Why not? The Knicks were up 3 with a minute left. An OG Anunoby dunk made it 5. D'Angelo, everybody's favorite teammate in the league, Russell, answers with a 3. Said after the game that he feels great being out of LA. He can play free. Well, he can just chuck. He did there. It made it a 2-point game after a Jalen Brunson miss. The Nets had a shot to send it to overtime or go for the win. They get a look for Cam Johnson, top of the key 3. No good. 12.1 seconds were left on the clock, so they went early. The Nets had to foul. Brunson goes to the line, ices it at the stripe. 99-95. The New York Knicks win back-to-back games for the first time since the first of the year, firmly in the 3rd position in the Eastern Conference. 25-16-6, 2 blocks, 3 steals for Karl Anthony Towns, 20 points from OG Anunoby. Rest of the slate, it was a slate of skunks. Put the controller down, please, because you are getting run. Who got run? Well, let's start with the Sixers-Nuggets rivalry game. Joel Embiid has not played in Denver, Colorado since pre-pandemic. The last time he played in Denver, November 8th, 2019. It's been 5 years, 2 months, and 13 days. Would he play tonight? He would not. The Nuggets led by 10, 77-67 at half, an NBA best 15-0 when leading at the break. Well, make it 16-0 now. They scored a season high 144. They win by 35. What a rivalry matchup it was in Denver. 3rd consecutive game for Nikola Jokic with a triple-double before the 4th quarter. 4 consecutive games registering triple-double. At the end of the 3rd, he had 27 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 4 steals on 10 of 15 shooting. More on him in a little bit. Denver, now 11 games above 500, 8-2 over their last 10, looking like a dangerous team. Game and a half out of 2nd in the Western Conference. The 76ers, they have now lost 7 in a row. They are 14th in the East. Wave the white flag already, Philadelphia. It's just time to play for next year. Magic Raptors, north of the border. I had a discussion with a Season 3 subscriber earlier today who had disagreed with my grade for the Raptors season. I believe I gave him a C-. That's your plug to go check out the mid-season report card. Where did I rate the Raptors, and where would you rate the Raptors season? Because I had said, don't sleep on the group up north. I think they have good culture. I think they have a good head coach. I just think that they have been hampered by injuries. We've seen RJ Barrett really flourish into his own playing in his home country and home city. Scotty Barnes is helping the cause. Jakob Poeltl continues to contribute as well. It looked to be the night for the Magic, desperately in need of a victory, trying to find some offense and some continuity. Reincorporating Paolo Banchero into the mix, they opened up a 21-point lead in the first quarter, but it was a 40-20 third quarter, the difference for the Toronto Raptors. Wild lead, swing alert. 43 points this game would swing. The Magic scored just 53 across quarters 2 through 4. The floor, speaking of, looked beautiful tonight. The Raptors, when they play on that floor with the old school logo and the jerseys, wow, it looks good. They did it justice, a 109-93 victory. The Raptors broadcast crew, Matt Devlin, usually pretty good, but they went on a long tangent about the fax back machine. It was definitely a back in my day rant. It's a way of receiving score updates that you would fax, and then with your number, they would fax you back score updates. Remember watching games when you couldn't check the internet and for scores? Yes. You wonder why studio shows have died. Yeah. I also don't think that they quite understood what swerving and bending corners means, but that's okay. The Magic are on a 4-game slide. They need Franz Wagner back into the fold. He has been cleared for contact, beginning a ramp up for a return. Could we see that this week? Hopefully, for the Magic's sake, they get healthy. Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler back in the fold. They have won one, lost one since his return. The win was 21 points over the Spurs Saturday night in Miami. They welcomed Portland to the 305 this evening. They did so without Tyler Hero, groin soreness, missing his first game of the season. The Blazers secured control, holding the Heat to just 17 points in the second quarter. The lead would grow to 27 at its largest. The Heat would cut it to 7, just under 2 minutes, but Portland had enough to close it out, 116-107. Game high 24 points from Anthony Simons, 22 from Dominating. Have we seen the last of Jimmy Butler in Miami? I feel like I keep asking that. It's like the Joel Embiid health status. But check out the kicks that Butler wore tonight. Interesting. Final game of the night, the Wizards trying to crack their 10-game slide. It's their 3rd game in a 6-game road trip, their 4th in the Golden State, California. Kyle Kuzma, subject of many a trade rumor, taking on his former team. Would it go well? Would they win after losing 10 in a row? Well, they had one lead, and then it changed in the game at 18-15. The Lakers led all the way through. LeBron James checked out with 3 minutes left, a 21-point, 10-rebound, 13-assist, triple-double. The Lakers victorious. They stay a position above the play-in, a spot they have found themselves the last 2 seasons. They are a half game behind their city mate Los Angeles Clippers. Heavy Pour, leading score of the night, presented by Portland Water. Visit them at drinkpdxwater.com. I'll drop the link below. 29 from Anthony Davis. That's not even warranting of a sip of the delicious Portland Water. Not even 30. Do you remember when Anthony Davis was in the MVP conversation? I don't know what happened there. Dunk of the night. Grady Dick. A baseline driver from the left corner flush on Tristan da Silva. I think that the Raptors court, I love that Raptors court, made it look even better. Great dunk from Grady. Performance of the night, mentioned Nikola Jokic coming back to him, that 27-13, 10-4 steals across his 31 minutes. Well, that is now his NBA leading 19th triple-double. The last 5 games for Jokic, since missing 2 with an illness, he has 21.6 points, 14 rebounds, 10.8 assists, 2.6 steals across 33 minutes played, his averages. Shooting splits, 65 from the field, 43 from 3, 81 from the free throw line. And I've said this before, I will say it again, I am done with the MVP debate. You have 2 guys that are having historic seasons, Nikola Jokic and SGA, and one guy in Giannis that could win it damn near every other year. Let's just sit back, enjoy it all, and maybe, just maybe, in terms of the SGA Jokic conversation, we'll see him get to decide it come playoff time. Week 13 NBA Conference Players of the Week announced on Monday, and in the Western Conference, a much-deserved and earned. Nod for Jalen Green, his team going 3-1 the Rockets over the course of the week. 32.5 points per game, shooting an absurd 60.6% from the field and 63.3% from three. Got the big contract prior to the start of the year, but it wasn't the full max deal. There was incentive for Jalen Green to continue to earn it, and it gave the Rockets some flexibility. He continues to be their leading scoring punch, and he has delivered, keeping the Rockets in second place in the Western Conference. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Conference Player of the Week in the East. Team a 4-0 record, 32 points per game, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. Like I said, any other season, Giannis would be the front runner, clear cut for the MVP conversation. But these two, your Week 13 NBA Conference Players of the Week. The first domino has fallen in what may be a cascade of trades. Jimmy Butler may figure into all of this as the Suns have made their first move. They traded their unprotected 2031, yes, 2031, 6 years from now, but their unprotected 2031 first rounder to Utah for 3 first rounders. Well, you may be thinking, how do you do that? Flip 1 first rounder for 3 first rounders. Well, the 3 first rounders they got back, one in 2025 coming from either Cleveland or Minnesota, in 2027, Cleveland, Minnesota, or Utah, and then 2029, Cleveland, Minnesota, Utah, the least favorable of all 3 of those years. That is how you do a 3-for-1 for 2031 for a Suns team that has some pretty big outlay financially. I don't know how good they will be come 2031. Utah consolidating picks. This was a win for them as well. We will get to that because the Suns, this is now assembling their war chest for a potential Jimmy Butler trade. You can go read about all the potential trade rumors because Milwaukee is now apparently in the mix, where it would be a Chris Middleton move, Bradley Beal going to Milwaukee. So that would be Lillard, Beal, and Giannis. Interesting. I don't know. Can Beal play? You're just trading one injured guy for another injured guy, but you're having to make the money work. Jimmy Butler would end up in Phoenix. Some other movement as well is what the reporting is. Remains to be seen how it will come together. But the Suns have made their first salvo into the trade market. Utah, like I said, they came out with a good deal on this one. They are owners of 11 first-round picks across the next 7 years. I need to bump them up from a B on the season to an A. My mid-season report card, go check it out, because they are committed to the long-term build. You are either selling hope or you are selling success. The Utah Jazz have no success. They're selling hope for the future, and a lot of first-round picks. That is a lot of hope. Victor Wembanyama, speaking of first-round picks and top picks and why you want to hit on those picks, he's been pretty dang good for the San Antonio Spurs, and how cool for him to get to return to his home country of France. He went to his hometown of Le Chesnay, a city of just over 30,000 people, 21 kilometers. Yes, in Europe they do kilometers, so we will as well. West of the heart of Paris. And what he did was dedicate a pair of outdoor courts. He helped design the logo at center court as a take on the city's clock tower, the city of Le Chesnay, merging that with the Spurs logo. So pretty cool that Victor Wembanyama gets to go back to France. His team will play 2 games Thursday and Sunday against the Indiana Pacers in Paris. 2 rookies have been announced as dunk contest participants. One, the teammate of Victor Wembanyama, and that is Stephon Castle of the San Antonio Spurs, and the Bulls' Matthias Buzelis, who has offered a couple of dunk of the night worthy dunks. I just wasn't quite familiar with his game yet, but the league obviously recognizing the game for those 2 rookies. So 2 spots are filled, 2 more. My dunk of the night I gave to Grady Dick, but LeBron James had an alley-oop toss from Austin Reeves. I'm going to start this now. This needs to be the year that LeBron does the dunk contest. The dunk contest has lacked so much juice for so long. Wow, how cool would it be if LeBron, we don't know how many more years, how many more All-Star games he has left in the can, and that's not due to level of play right now. Triple-double tonight in the Lakers' victory, albeit over the Wizards. But this is the year. Come on, LeBron. Do it. Dunk contest. House shoes. Kick scam. Doing its thing. SB dunk. Alexis Sablon. Chameleons. Busted these out this weekend. I really like this shoe. What I don't really like, as we are into NBA Rivalry Week, is the current status of the rivalries in the NBA. I've gone through thinking for house shoes, hey, what is the best rivalry in the NBA right now? And I couldn't come up with anything too great. What happened to animosity? What happened to disdain? All of this dapping up and trading jerseys after the game and waving and all that. Okay, I'm all here for the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the fraternity of the NBA, but isn't this thing about winning? When have people taken losing so lightly? It continues to just befuddle me. And I understand I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not an NBA player that has to slog through 82 games, or what it feels like sometimes. It's not a privilege to play 82 games. I don't know. That's a more evolved conversation. But I want some animosity. I want some players that don't like one another, that they look at each other in the pregame circle before the ball's tipped off. They're like, I want to beat him and just take his bread off his plate. All right, here's what I could come up with. Best rivalry in the NBA right now. Because you talk animosity, and there's a common thread here. Thunder Mavs, I think, has a little bit of juice to it. Proximity as well. I've coined it the I-35 rivalry, about 2 hours from one another. Oklahoma City north of Dallas. Luka Doncic, yeah, he's easily a player that can be disliked by opposing fans. The Suns Mavericks. Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, we've seen those two. There's some animosity there, at least on the court, but then they seem, chummy after. I want true animosity. Like, I do not like that guy. Like Rudy Gobert and Draymond Green. I put that best rivalry in the NBA. Those are two that Draymond Green, he won't let it go, but he doesn't seem to like Rudy Gobert. Lakers Nuggets. Is that a good rivalry? Currently in the NBA, we've seen those two teams meet in the last two playoffs. The Denver Nuggets beating him in the Western Conference Finals, and then beating them in the first round last year with two Jamal Murray game winners, but a little bit of juice between those two. How about Heat and Celtics? That seems to be the most consistent matchup and meeting in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Heat have definitely spoiled the season of the Celtics on multiple occasions. That historic comeback that led to a Game 7 2 years ago that sent the Heat to the NBA Finals. That's one of my qualifiers for rivalry. You should definitely end one another's seasons and ruin the dream multiple times. That rivalries need more long-term. They need frequent meetings come playoff time. Kings Warriors. There's a good rivalry. Proximity as well. Proximity is always low-hanging fruit when it comes to rivalries, but we've definitely seen some good matchups between the Kings and the Warriors come playoff time as well. Who do you think is the best rivalry in the NBA right now? Are there two teams that when they get on the court against one another, they just seem to genuinely not like one another? Somebody suggested Pacers and the Bucks. Heard Cavs and the Magic from their 7-game series last year. Who do you feel is the best rivalry? Historically, I had gone through and thought about the best rivalries in the NBA all time. I think you're hard to top Lakers, Celtics, Bird, and Magic. I believe that is the best rivalry all time, but Pistons, Bulls was a great rivalry. Knicks, Heat, a great rivalry. And also don't sleep on Spurs, Lakers. That was a phenomenal rivalry as well when they were both in their primes. What to watch Wednesday? Well, the 9 games should make up for the abysmal slate we saw on Tuesday night. 6 of the 9 could be bangers. Pistons, Hawks, two teams fighting for position and legitimacy in the Eastern Conference. Wolves, Mavericks, a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals. Suns, Luka, unfortunately, Cavs Rockets, number 1 in the East, number 1 in the NBA, and the Cavaliers against the number 2 team in the West. Houston, this is another prove-it game with the reigning conference player of the week in Jalen Green. Hornets Grizzlies, well, that's a great matchup between Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball. Warriors Kings, the Dubs in the tailspin, the Kings ascending. And Celtics Clippers, the first of 2 in the LA area for the defending champs. 9 games. If you miss any of it, make sure to come back to Z's and Threes because you know I got you. And while you're here, please do like, subscribe, and share with a friend. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.